Should you go to Mallorca? Do I like walking? Uelaga. 2 of these questions will be answered in the 3rd and final instalment of A Trip to Mallorca. Part 3, Let's Walk. If you like this video, my in-laws will be less disappointed in me. So it's actually been a few days since we recorded that orange picking video. I haven't recorded that much over the last few days because when you go away on holiday or vacation for our transatlantic viewers, it's sometimes nice to just put the camera down and enjoy the place that you're staying. But I did film some bits, and the thing that me and Charlie really wanted to focus on the last few days was exploring the island by my favourite mode of transport, by foot. So a few days ago we took ourselves off for a hike up into the mountains behind where we're staying. So what's particularly fascinating as we walk up is we've ascended a few hundred meters and we have changed from orange and lemon trees to olive trees because the orange trees and the lemon trees need more heat. So even though we're still actually only like a couple of kilometers from where we're staying, up here it is too cold to grow oranges and they're growing olives instead. No olives on the branches at the moment though. Big spiky dick. So we ended up walking a fair few kilometres to a really pretty town called Fort-de-Lux, where we found this really pretty square where we could sit down and enjoy a beer. We then found a really pretty spot where we could eat our lunch, and then we headed back. So after that point, the walking bug had well and truly struck Charlie and I. So the next day, we decided we wanted to go on a grander, longer, more spectacular walk. So we got on a bus to a town up in the hills called Daya, and the bus journey alone was pretty spectacular. Now the journey really was gorgeous. That journey was gorgeous. But the twists and turns made us both feel quite queasy. But it did make me feel a bit queasy. It was worth it for the views though. Worth it for the view though. The one thing that we found that Mallorca has in abundance is incredible towns with incredible views, and Daya was no exception. If you get the chance to explore Daya or Daya, I'm not entirely sure how it's pronounced, you really ought to. Just like Sóller, it's in the mountains with beautiful views of the coast, but it's even quieter and smaller and even higher up, so the views are even more impressive if that was possible. Seems to be. Right, time to head to Sóller. Sóller's that way, Charlie.
Let's go.
It's going to be a long old walk, 2.5 hours, 10k, you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. So we actually ended up taking quite a few detours, and the walk ended up being more like 20 kilometers, but every step was totally worth it. We managed to find the sea.
We did find the sea.
Look at
this.
Let's see if we can find a spot to eat our lunch.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the detours. pretty smug about the fact that we thought to bring beers with us. Local beer. It's good. Oh, it's warm. Don't let anyone tell you that Mallorca off season isn't warm, because it is. It may not be summer temperatures, but look at us.
It's hot.
Sweaty messes. We are walking uphill though. Right, Charlie, we're staying in Sóller, but we loved Port de Sóller the other day. So which way are we going to go?
I don't know. Which way do you want to go?
Let's go to Port de Sóller.
Okay.
Let's go to Port de Sóller.
Okay, this way.
And this was another detour, but we could go off track with confidence because every single route was incredibly well signposted, and it wasn't long before Port de Sóller came into our sights. We're just coming to the last little bit of our walk, maybe 20 minutes in, and Port de Sóller is coming into view, and my God, what a view it is. Oh, what the actual you absolute moron piece of where the did you learn how to drive, you miserable piece of crap? No, I'm joking. There's nothing here. It's just gorgeous, serene mountain roads. I just thought, you know, with that last shot being such a lovely drift off into the sunset, that it'd be quite funny to come back like that. Does represent how I'm feeling though, because we are on our way back to the UK. Today's our last day. We're on our way to the airport, so probably fairly accurately describes how I feel. Now, being at the end of the trip has got me thinking about whether or not I would do this trip again, you know, especially coming to Mallorca off season, and what I would do differently. And one of the things I'd definitely do differently is I wouldn't bother with a hire car. Like, me and Charlie have been getting on buses and trams and walking, and we've just not needed it. We've done 70 kilometers in this, and this was just to take us from Palma to Sóller and back. And actually, there's a train that does it, there's a bus that does it, and it would have been a lot cheaper. So, wouldn't bother getting a hire car. So I suppose the next big question is, would we come back to Mallorca again, especially in the off season? I mean, there's definitely a lot more for us to do. Charlie and I only saw like a very, very small part of the island, and there's a lot more to explore there, and a lot of other things that you can do. Like, you can go to these glorious caves, lots of lovely areas of geography to see, so there's definitely more to see. There you go. Cheers. Beer and a coffee cup. Now, obviously, coming to Mallorca in the off-season means that you can't do a lot of the things that you would typically associate with Mallorca, like going to the beach or going to the pool or lounging or that sort of thing. Not that we didn't paddle in the sea.
So cold.
That's a lot colder than I hoped it would be. A lot colder than I'd hoped it would be. But in reality, it was actually warm enough to go and swim in the sea and swimming pools and stuff. And not only that, we found that there was enough to do with all of our days that didn't involve those things. We never ran out of things to do, so it didn't matter that we couldn't do those things or felt like we couldn't do those things. Right, so Charlie,
Yeah.
how would you rate that holiday out of 10?
10?
A 10?
Yeah.
You give Mallorca a 10?
Yeah.
I don't know, I think that pretty much sums it up. So long story short, would I go to Mallorca again off season? Absolutely, 100%. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say on that, isn't it? Bloody hell, it's cold. Should we go back? Got to run back and get the camera. Always got to run back and get the camera.